And over to Europe, the UN's highest court on Tuesday began a hearing into allegations of genocide in Myanmar over the military campaign against the Rohingya minority, with leader Aung San Suu Kyi set to defend those who once held her under house arrest. Myanmar's military began a harsh counterinsurgency campaign against Rohingya Muslims in August of 2017 in response to an insurgent attack. More than 700,000 Rohingya fled to neighboring Bangladesh to escape what has been called an ethnic cleansing campaign involving mass rapes, killings, and the torching of homes. Joining us now on the phone is Olivia Enos, a senior policy analyst at the Heritage Foundation. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on.
Olivia, I wanted to ask you, this case being brought about in The Hague is coming from Gambia. For a lot of people who may not be following the Rohingya situation in Myanmar and Bangladesh, why is Gambia bringing the case to the International Criminal Court?
Yeah, well, it's definitely very unusual to have a person who is not a country that is not directly affected by the atrocity crimes to be bringing it forward to the ICJ. So it is unusual, and I think it's to be commended by Gambia to bring this case before the ICJ, because it is definitely bringing about much needed light that is being shed on the severe atrocity crimes that were committed against the Rohingya. That being said, I'm skeptical that a case before the ICJ will be able to bring about the justice that those among the Rohingya and also other minority groups in Shan and Kachin state who have also faced persecution at the hands of the Burmese military are really seeking. I think that can really only come about if you see an atrocity determination released by the U.S. and definitely to be commended today, for the first time, the U.S. State Department announced that they were placing Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, the head of the Burmese military, the guy who architected and orchestrated the crimes against the Rohingya, on the specially designated nationals list for his human rights violations. And there are other individuals who also were placed, including the heads of the 99th and 33rd Light Infantry Divisions, who were responsible for carrying out those atrocities. That's a positive step in the right direction. Maybe it came because the Gambia was shedding light on the serious crimes that took place.
A lot is being made out of Aung San Suu Kyi, having to defend her military in this. She was elected with very high hopes of bringing about a lot of reforms in the country. What is your take on her lasting legacy, given that in the past she was a Nobel laureate?
Aung San Suu Kyi's reputation is definitely tarnished because of the way that she has mishandled response to the Rohingya crisis, and this will follow her, I think, for the rest of her life. Obviously, she was elected because she was pro-democracy, and that primarily focused on a political reform process. I think that her decision to go and to defend the atrocity crimes committed by the Burmese military will seriously call into question her sincerity in drawing Burma back on that path toward democratic reform. And I think that is going to be a serious challenge for her leadership going forward. That being said, she's going to the ICJ in part because she has a complex power sharing arrangement where she does have to share power with the Burmese military. But this is a capitulation to them that I think really besmirches her name and her legacy and will have long-standing impacts, both domestically but definitely in the international community.
In about 15, 20 seconds, all the time we have left, if we take a look at what happens after this hearing, what do you see as any next step for other governments around the world?
Well, this is a great awareness-raising mechanism. This is an opportunity to shed light. Hopefully, this will result in more governments providing the necessary aid to help those 700,000 Rohingya who are displaced today in Bangladesh. And hopefully, it leads the U.S. to issue an atrocity determination that says definitively that Burma's military committed genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes, as the UN has already asserted.
Olivia Enos is a senior policy analyst at the Heritage Foundation. Really appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us on today's program.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
And you're listening to VOA News.